What's up, Portland? All right. Welcome to Pod Save America. I'm Jon Favreau.
I'm Negin Farsad.
I'm Tommy Vietor.
I'm Dan Pfeiffer.
Jon Lovett still has COVID, but he's working through it. He's okay.
Yeah, he was on some Zooms today.
He was on some Zooms. He's fine. Don't worry
He was
about it.
happy but also upset that Thursday's show went well.
Yeah. He wanted it to go well. He didn't want it to go too well. We are very lucky to have the hilarious Negin Farsad with us, who's... Please subscribe to her podcast, Fake the Nation, if you haven't already. It is hilarious. We are also lucky to have with us tonight your next member of Congress from Oregon's 5th District, Jamie McLeod-Skinner. All right, let's get to some news. Donald Trump and Mike Pence, who went from 2020 GOP running mates to president and vice president, to leader of a violent mob and guy that the violent mob wanted to hang, to potential 2024 rivals. These two frenemies campaigned in Arizona on Friday for two different Republicans running for governor, the same day that their former campaign manager, podcast legend Steve Bannon, was found guilty on 2 counts of contempt of Congress and now faces up to 2 years in prison. All in all, a banner day for the party of law and order. It's very good. So Negin, let's start with Trump and Pence. One of Mike Pence's advisors told the Washington Post that if he runs, the former vice president will make the point that, quote, Trump is the only person who lost to Biden. Though the closest he came to criticizing his former boss in Friday's speech was when he said, quote, there are those who want to make this election about the past. What do you think? Very, very pointed. What do you think about Pence's strategy here, and would you be losing sleep over it if you were Donald Trump?
Wait, hold on. Did you say that he said there are those that want to make this election about the past? Oh, shit! I can't believe he said that! What? Oh, my God! He really went there,
He went there.
huh? That is just, but for the people of Arizona to have one night where you can either go to a Pence rally or a Trump rally is sort of like when you open the refrigerator and you find out that all you have left is milk that just went sour or cheese that just went moldy. And to me, you could take the cheese and then cut off the moldy parts, and then you have this little nub of cheese. What I'm saying is that Mike Pence is a little nub of cheese.
I was wondering who the cheese was.
And he's slightly just more edible. But what I love about Mike Pence's speech is that he spent a lot of time sort of praising the candidate he was there supporting for being there for the Pence-Trump ticket, through the Trump-Pence ticket in 2016 and 2020. And every time he speaks, he kind of does this thing where he's bringing a gift bag to his executioner. You know what I mean? Where he's just oh my God, thank you inviting me to this beheading of me. I hope you enjoy Pinot. And he's just so embarrassing for himself.
I mean,
What if Pence won and made Trump his VP? Just to get his ass back.
I mean,
No one's talked about it.
I'm just glad we could all be here. The first time anyone ever said the words, what I loved about the Mike Pence speech was.
I was going to say, our wonderful production team at Crooked Media helps us prep for these shows. And yesterday when we found out that we were so lucky, blessed by the news gods, to have a Trump rally and a Pence rally on Friday so we could talk about it tonight, we were could everyone please look at the Mike Pence rally? And we got an email last night that said all the things about the Donald Trump rally, and then it just said, we did not pull any clips from the Mike Pence rally. It was boring. It's I can't argue with that.
It was NA.
I can't argue with that. What do you think, though, about the strategy, the Pence strategy, that saying that, Dan, that Donald Trump is the only one who lost to Joe Biden?
we have argued on this stage many times that the best message against Donald Trump is that he is a loser.
Yes.
And in a Republican primary, I love people cheering for that. In a Republican primary, the message that Donald Trump lost to Sleepy Joe is probably a very powerful message. Because I would like to see one day some Republican, or see someone try to expose the contradiction between Donald Trump and the right wing portraying Joe Biden as like the lead character in Weekend at Bernie's and as the mastermind of a global conspiracy to steal an election. But so I think that is a good message for every single person walking the planet other than Mike Pence. He was on the ticket.
It's an awkward one for him.
He lost 2. He didn't win anything. Like, I guess he lost to Kamala Harris.
It's so crazy that they would float that. You're like, he's literally the only Republican on the planet that can't use that message. If I'm Ron DeSantis, I'd be like, yeah, motherfucker, you lost to Kamala. I mean, that's 100%. But
it's worse that they didn't just float it. They floated it in the Washington Post, and then he didn't do it.
He didn't do it. He didn't do it.
Well,
He's
he
just
had
a
that
coward.
really intense line about the past. So,
I love that line.
which is
Which
like,
we're all still reeling from.
Because you know they spent like dozens of hours like poll testing, talking through this line about like the future and the past. And go ahead and deliver that, Mike Pence, because Donald Trump will be like, Mike took bribes from the Chinese. General Flynn's got the receipts on it. You know, like he'll just make up shit. Like it doesn't matter.
I know. Now, we were going to pull a clip from the Trump speech, but that was also like a lot of rehash. There was a Trump speech tonight at a conservative conference where there was just a fantastic clip from Donald Trump that I think we should play.
In fact, as president, I wanted to give myself the Congressional Medal of Honor, but they wouldn't let me do it. They wouldn't let me do it. I said, I'm going to give myself I've always wanted that. But they wouldn't let me do that. They said that would be inappropriate. I said, okay.
I mean,
We debated whether he was kidding, but decided we don't care.
he doesn't kid about that. That's dead serious. Dead serious. All right, Dan, Friday's event took place in one of the closest swing states with 2 of the most competitive midterm races for both governor and Senate, where Trump has endorsed former TV newscaster Kari Lake. And in the Arizona Senate race, he's endorsed Peter Thiel protege Blake Masters. What do we know about these 2 candidates, and how hard will it be for the Democratic nominees to beat them in a general election?
So I think the best way to describe Blake Masters is a combination of J.D. Vance and the lead character from American Psycho.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And the best way to describe Kari Lake is Ron Burgundy meets Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I feel like you're describing dudes I dated in my 20s. Just for the record. Keep going.
So Blake
I made some
Masters
mistake.
is when you say he's a protege of Peter Thiel, he is a person who as a undergrad at Stanford became famous by live blogging Peter Thiel's lectures in class, which then became picked up by the press.
I mean, just pause on how lame that is. Imagine live blocking shit your professor was saying in class.
Yes.
That is, come on.
And then got hired by Peter Thiel, helped him write his book. He started out as a libertarian who wrote lots of crazy, dangerous things in college and has returned himself into an America First MAGA candidate. He has an ad with an AR-15 where he talks about how it's a weapon for killing people. He wants to impeach Joe Biden over the border because racism, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kari Lake is a long-time Arizona newscaster who voted for John Kerry, re-registered.
I like the random clap there. It was like, yeah,
Like,
John
like-
Kerry!
She was so moved by Barack Obama's victory in the Iowa caucuses in 2008, she registered as a Democrat the next day.
Wow.
Oh.
Gave to his campaign. About a year ago, she decided to run for office as a complete election lie pushing. She's on Gab. She hangs out with white supremacists.
She's full of shit.
She's 100% full of shit. But the thing that does it that we have to always remember is whether these MAGA people are true believers, like I think Blake Masters might be, or completely full of shit like Kari Lake and J.D. Vance are, they're just as dangerous.
Yeah.
And so Arizona is we have great candidates there. Obviously Mark Kelly's a great candidate. We're still waiting to see who wins the Democratic primary, but it seems like Katie Hobbs, who's the Secretary of State, is the leader, is the favorite. Carrie Lake does think Katie Hobbs should go to jail because Joe Biden won the state in 2020. That's her reason.
Platform.
But those are going to be really, really tough races. And even in a great year, Arizona's tough. And I don't know if you've looked out the window recently, but this is not a great year.
No.
But if you ever meet someone in your life who's making a transition like Carrie Lake from an Obama person to like a crazy MAGA person, suggest to them to like get a haircut. Like that might be enough. They don't, you know what I mean? I don't
Right.
need, it's like.
Yeah, go on vacation. I watched the Blake Masters speech. He
Exciting
I wrote this
Friday
down.
night for Tommy.
Thank you, John. He attacked Mark Kelly for being an astronaut, which was, I don't know, isn't it? Like, that's not cool now?
Go at your opponent's strength. That's what you should do.
Yeah. He said he wanted to prosecute Dr. Fauci, I guess, for being a doctor, and then said, if you don't want your kid to be transgender, Democrats will call you a domestic terrorist, which is something I've never heard. I did not know we did that.
That was part of the thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone's got to help Mark Kelly, great senator from Arizona, and then Katie Hobbs wins. Got to help them because Arizona's going to be very close, and we could have some very crazy people representing Arizona if Carrie Lake and Blake Masters win. Tommy, let's talk about your boy Steve Bannon, who may have to take a 24-month hiatus from the War Room podcast. So he celebrated his guilty verdict on Friday by bragging about an Axios story that claims Trump plans to replace all nonpartisan civil servants with MAGA loyalists if he becomes president again. Can you talk about this? This is it's called Schedule F.
Sure.
And why this might be a cause for alarm.
So, yes, I just want to start by saying that we stand by Steve as a podcast and that we will not speak into a microphone until he is free. Dan and I have been planning some sort of like Weather Underground style prison break schemes and whatnot. So this Schedule F thing, it's very nerdy, it's very in the weeds, but think back to 2016. Take your brain back to a simpler time. No one thought Donald Trump was going to win. Nobody, not even Donald Trump. So they were like, sir, you have to plan a presidential transition. They were like, fuck it, let Chris Christie do it. So let Chris Christie do it, and Chris Christie, being a dupe, was like, let's think of lists of, professional Republicans who are qualified for the job. And they put together a big binder and they did this whole process. And then Trump won. And the next day, I believe, Steve Bannon fired Chris Christie and performatively threw the binder into the trash can, literally in the office. And they started from scratch. That will not happen this time around. And so the obvious thing that will happen is the first round of cabinet secretary types will be Devin Nunes and Jim Jordan. You clapping for that?
The Overstock guy.
And Matt Gaetz, the Overstock guy, right. But what Trump figured out during his 4 years in the White House is that the lower levels of bureaucracy can really slow you down. And so what they're planning on doing is normally when a president takes office, you get 4,000 so-called political hires across the government. They have figured out through this sort of creative, evil way that they think they can purge basically 50,000 people from the government. Career civil servants, like good people, professionals, serve under Republicans and Democrats, and do a great job. And so that might sound sort of like in the weeds and wonky, but just imagine you have 50,000 Stephen Millers at the EPA, the FBI, Department of Justice.
I was going to say, forget CIA, like DOD.
All these places. And so, we were not saved in 2017, but it helped us in 2017 that these guys didn't know what they were doing and it took them a while to get up and running. That will not be the case if Trump wins again. And unfortunately, your only avenue to contest it is in the courts. And now we have a bunch of MAGA judges running around. So look, it's maybe not that high on the list of things we should worry about Trump winning again, but it's up there.
It's up there.
It's up there.
We got to save the deep state.
Anyway, stand with Steve. Save the deep state.
Is that not? Should we not?
The deepest state of all.
Save the deep state. Well,
Can I just say about Steve Bannon is it's weird for me, but I like sort of miss the simpler days when he was just like an Islamophobe. And I say that as a Muslim, right? Like that was, where are my Muslims at? Like that was easier, right? It was just better when he was just like a Breitbart Islamophobe. This sounds so much scarier.
Yeah, now he's ripping up the government and installing a bunch of wackos. It's not
Just
good.
an arsonist.
It's not good. But anyway, he'll be in jail for 2 years, maybe. We'll see. All right, we'll be back with more news in a bit. Now, it's time once again to scream at the news with a game that we call OK Stop. We are about to watch an actual Trump blooper reel aired by the January 6th committee and expertly curated by Crooked Media's video team. You guys know this one. And it'll give you a behind-the-scenes glimpse at the former president's attempt to formulate a response to the insurrection. This is, of course, different from the constant Trump blooper reel that we've been watching every day of our fucking lives since 2015. You guys ready? Mm-hmm. Let's roll.
We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. To those who broke the law, you will pay. You do not represent our movement. You do not represent our country. And if you broke the law, you can't say that.
Okay, stop. You don't want to get too tough on those lawbreakers. This is Donald Trump that we're talking about.
You can't say that. You can't say they broke the law.
Especially not if you're planning on pardoning them.
Beating the shit out of cops on TV. You can't say that. You can't say that.
I already said you will pay. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defied the seat of justice. It's defiled, right? See, I can't see it very well.
Okay, stop.
He's like, I can't see it very well. There's ketchup smeared on the screen for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. Hey, Donald, we saw it. The QAnon shaman took a shit in Nancy Pelosi's office. We saw the defiling that you somehow missed.
But this election is now over. Congress has certified the results. I don't want to say the election's over.
Okay, stop. Yeah, no, we know. we are well aware.
Donald Trump, don't worry. At the end of every election, there's a new election.
Yeah. Don't cry because it's over. Laugh because it happens.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack yesterday. Yesterday is a hard word for me. Good. Take the word yesterday, because it doesn't work with the heinous
Okay,
attack.
stop.
No. Do you think Mike Pence's attack on the past was a reference to the yesterday gate?
He's like acting like yesterday. It's like yesterday. It's not a difficult word. He's acting like we're asking him to say like loquacious or impeachment for the incitement of insurrection or...
It's objectively not a hard word to say.
He also said it fine. That's the thing. Also, I didn't know until I watched this version of it that Ivanka has this genius idea in the back. She's like, take it out. Take the word yesterday out. He's like, yes.
That is like
I
by
could take it out.
far the most Ivanka thing possible.
Dad, just say the day before today.
Also, I love that her job is running teleprompter. That was her job those 4 years.
Can we give her something to do?
Nowhere to be found during the insurrection, but she was right there at the teleprompter.
You know what's a hard word? Bureaucracy. Spell that fucking thing.
Yesterday. Anyway.
On our country. Say on our country. Want to say that? No. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote.
So it turns out that he was actually slapping the podium there because the ketchup attracted a lot of ants. So that's the backstory.
But also the word that was tripping him up here was the. He was like, the vote, the vote, their vote.
Ivanka's like, take out the word the.
He's like, I've literally never said the word integrity before in my life. Ivanka, what does this mean?
Integrity?
Integrity?
This doesn't work well on a podcast, but the snapping wrist motion is so strange.
Yes, it was very like Travolta in Saturday Night Fever.
Why was he doing that?
Very-
Why?
Very out of character. I guess not.
Actually, surprised by how much wrist dexterity he had. This is actually one of the positive moments of his presidency.
Maybe he could have reached for the Secret Service.
That's exactly right.
Collarbone. That made me. Now I'm thinking.
That's how we hit that Diet Coke button.
I think that's it. Is that it? That's it.
I hope
that's
so,
okay.
John.
Stop. All right. The presenting sponsor of Pod Save America is Simply Safe. No matter what crazy things are going on in the world, home should feel like the safest place on earth for every family. With Simply Safe's advanced, professionally monitored home security, someone's always looking after your home and family 24/7. The moment a threat is detected, Simply Safe's agents spring into action to ensure your safety and dispatch 911 responders to your door, even if you're away and can't be reached. They got their proprietary video verification technology, monitoring agents visually confirm your emergency in order to attain higher priority dispatch from 911, which can make all the difference when you need them most. Monitoring plans are affordably priced at $1 a day with no long-term contract or hidden fees, because feeling safe at home shouldn't break the bank.
No,
Tommy
it should
loves
not.
Simply Safe
Simply Safe
because it protects his friend Jon Lovett.
Yeah, it kept John safe from break-ins, from fires, from floods, even from COVID for a while.
Yeah, and then
Until he,
he forgot to turn it on one night and he got COVID.
Yep. So let that be a lesson to you. Sign up for Simply Safe.
Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/crooked. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. Go to simplysafe.com/crooked. Pod Save America is brought to you by Movement Watches. Movement Watches, where you been?
Hello, old friend.
Wow, what a sight for sore eyes.
I miss these guys.
Here's the deal. In a tiny apartment in Southern California, 2 college dropouts teamed up to create a watch company that had fair prices, unexpected colors, and clean original designs. Movement grew into one of the fastest growing watch brands, shipping to over 160 countries. Now, Movement has expanded into blue light glasses that protect your eyes from your screens, minimalist jewelry, and more style essentials at affordable prices. Movement watches have the look and quality of a $400 to $500 watch. There you go. We're approximating the price, but cost a fraction of the price because they were built online and own their process from start to finish. Get a watch shipped right to your door for free, and if you don't love it, you can ship it right back for free. Plus, Movement's Everscroll blue light filtering glasses help with eye strain and poor sleeping patterns and come in a modern frame style, just like Jay Inslee wears.
That's right. I think he's probably wearing them tonight. I think I'm squinting too much and it's giving me headaches. I gotta look into these.
Oh, perfect eyesight, Tommy. You're finally.
I'm
finally need some
2020 mofo.
Okay. If you want
spotted your cheap ass looking watch, go get a Movement, loser. Looks like a $30 watch. I can judge him on sight.
If you want to elevate your look with style that doesn't break the bank, join the movement and get 15% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to mvmt.com/crooked. Again, that's mvmt.com/crooked. Pod Save America is brought to you by Tommy John. Hey, Tommy, when the summer heat is melting your popsicle, you need underwear that'll keep your tall boy on ice.
That's a mixed metaphor.
That's Tommy John. Because when you wear Tommy John, you're that much cooler, so you can do everything better, thanks to breathable, lightweight fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing brands. With dozens of comfort innovations, Tommy John will keep you looking and feeling cool all season long, from lounging at home to summertime fun. That's why Tommy John doesn't have customers, they got fanatics. With over 17 million pairs sold, people love their Tommy John underwear and loungewear.
Yeah, listen, Tommy John underwear, it's really comfortable.
The loungewear, too.
Yeah, look, that underwear stretch it's less essential once you hit your 30s, but it's still.
You still want a nice snap.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
Tommy John doesn't just make you feel cooler. You actually are cooler. You stay up to 7 degrees cooler than cotton in Tommy John's Apollo underwear. Plus, then you get to tell people you're wearing Apollo underwear. There's no risk. Plus, because you're covered with Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear or its free guarantee. Shop TommyJohn.com/crooked right now for 20% off your first order. Get 20% off right now at TommyJohn.com/crooked. TommyJohn.com/crooked. See site for details. Pod Save America is brought to you by Blue Land. Did you know that an estimated 5 billion plastic hand soap and cleaning bottles are thrown away each year? And if that's not bad enough, most cleaning formulas are 90% water, which is heavy to ship, leading to excessive carbon emissions. Plus, those products are often filled with nasty ingredients like chlorine and ammonia. That's a lose-lose situation for you and the planet. Luckily, Blue Land is on a mission to eliminate single-use plastics by reinventing home essentials that are good for you and the planet. Blue Land has an innovative tablet refill solution that takes up to 10 times less space than a traditional bottle, and their powerful formulas keep your home clean and smelling amazing. So here's the idea. You grab one of their beautiful Forever bottles.
Okay.
You fill it with warm water, you drop in the tablet, and then you get cleaning. So you got the bottle forever, and all you have to do is just buy the tablets.
It's genius.
The refills start at $2. You don't have to buy a new plastic bottle every time you run out. You can even set up a subscription, so you never run out of the products you use the most. You don't have to run to the store to get more cleaning products, which is super annoying.
It is.
And you save even more when you buy in bulk. They got cleaning sprays, hand soap, toilet cleaner, laundry tablets. All of them are made with ingredients you can feel good about. You should try their Clean Essentials kit, which has everything you need to get started. Blue Land products come in refreshing signature scents like iris, agave, fresh lemon, eucalyptus mint.
Okay.
And for a limited time, their hand soap is getting a summer upgrade with 3 refreshing new scents.
Hit me with them.
So you're going to love this, Tommy.
Okay.
Strawberry rhubarb,
In.
citrus patchouli, and coconut palm.
Okay, I'm back.
It's like you're washing your hands with a pina colada.
Sure. This isn't in the copy, but you know what else is a good pitch for Blue Land? I love it for a million reasons, but you know how there's the cabinet under the sink, and there's just really a finite amount of space there?
Mm-hmm.
This saves you a lot of space. When you
Also,
don't have
it's
like a
tough
big bottle of like
It's tough to know what's what under there.
detergent or
Lots of bottles under there.
Yes.
What are you
that is
grabbing
correct. Most of them are old.
Right now, and so we've used Blue Land. We use it at our house right
Hannah
now.
and I love it.
all the time. Get
It's
the
replaced
refills.
all our other
Huge
stuff.
fans. Huge fans. Right now, you can get 15% off your first order when you go to blueland.com/crooked. That's 15% off your first order of any Blue Land products at blueland.com/crooked. Blueland.com/crooked. All right, let's talk some more news. Justice Clarence Thomas and other radical conservatives have made clear that they believe the Supreme Court should reconsider its decisions on the right to marry and the right to use birth control. House Democrats have... I know, and that's where we're going to talk about it. House Democrats have held votes on legislation that would guarantee the federal recognition of same-sex marriages and the right to purchase and use contraception without government restriction here in the year of our Lord, 2022. So, Tommy, 47 House Republicans voted in favor of the same-sex marriage bill, but so far, yeah, clap for them. That's great. But so far, only 5 Senate Republicans have said they're likely to support it. Many others have said it's, quote, unnecessary. Meanwhile, some Democrats are reluctant to schedule a vote until they know they have at least 10 Republicans on board. Why is this bill necessary, and do you think that Chuck Schumer should schedule the vote no matter what?
Sure. Got a strong view in the crowd. So the vote would help pass a law that would require states and the federal government to recognize same-sex marriages. The reason we need to do this is because, as you mentioned at the top, Clarence Thomas said in his dissent on the Dobbs ruling that stripped away abortion rights from half the country, that he thinks that Obergefell was wrongly decided and wants to overturn it, which would overturn same-sex marriage. So I think the debate for Chuck Schumer is basically, if I put this vote on the floor, will we have enough votes? And if we don't have enough votes, will the Democrats get blamed because we then can't have a plan B and get rid of the filibuster to do this because Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema drive us all crazy? There you go.
Then we're back in the mansion.
My argument would be schedule the vote. Maybe we can get something really good done. And if we can't, 70% of the country supports same-sex marriage. So let's make a bunch of Republicans take a really hard vote. And the reason we know it's a really hard vote is because Republicans are saying hilariously stupid things in an effort to not respond to the question of whether or not they'll support this vote.
Yeah, and I think you got to call their bluff because like one of the 5 Republicans who said that they're likely to support this is Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. And like, yeah. Now, why is Ron Johnson saying that he's likely to support it? Because he's in a very competitive Senate race in Wisconsin, and he knows that this is a very popular thing to do. So like, I actually think if he puts it on the floor, like Republicans some Republicans want to get away with not giving their position right now.
Sure.
Schumer puts this on the floor. I don't know. I think it's, what do you think, Dan? Do you think he gets
I don't
10?
know. I don't know if it'll pass or not. I mean, the Republican, but it puts people like Ron Johnson, every Republican in the country, to choose between the opinions of the overwhelming majority of Americans and the radical right-wing extremists that control their party. And so this is why McConnell does not want this to happen. Is he does not want this vote to happen because he does not want to have it fail and have 80% of his Republicans vote against it,
Right.
or have it pass and have the radical right wing think he's sold out. And so when you are in that position, when you have your opponent in that position, you have to exploit that tension, right? Not walk away from it.
Yeah. So, Negin, the contraception bill has not fared quite as well. Only 8 House Republicans voted for it, including our new queen, Liz Cheney. And the New York Times reports that the contraception bill, they don't think it will get 10 votes in the Senate. Considering that 90% of the public supports birth control, which is even more than the 70% who support same-sex marriage, why do you think Republicans are so opposed to this bill to just guarantee the right to contraception?
That's a really good question. Is it because reckless raw dogging is a part of the Republican platform? I don't. Is it? I mean, it's like a legitimate question.
I think we got an episode title.
Trump is standard bearer.
Live from Portland.
What I love about this bill is that I know that Republican senators were literally standing in line at the pharmacy to get their birth control while they were reading this bill, you know? And, they're like, sorry, I can't make it to the Senate chambers right now. I'm getting my IUD implanted. And it's like, you guys, come on. At this point, I want us to put everything up for a vote. I want contraception. I want same-sex marriage. I want interracial marriage. I want capri pants. I want cupcakes. I want us to go on record about everything.
This is confusing to me. I don't get why
Republicans are calling the bill a Trojan horse.
No pun intended.
See what you did there, John.
Get out of here. You're fired. Get out of here.
I did not think about that.
I think
I
we
did not.
all called it Schumer's magnum opus, but
It is
Oh
so
my
funny imagining
God.
them voting on this. Like Chuck Grassley's like, erections. This went out of style in the 70s.
No, I guess they are upset that some of the money in this bill would provide funding or guarantee funding to Planned Parenthood. And so they think, even though it would be for Planned Parenthood providing contraception and not abortion, they think they don't want anything close. That's why Republicans are against it.
I mean, it is wild that you can't get 10 Republicans to support contraception.
I mean,
It's wild.
I was just okay, Dan, what do you think of the overall political strategy of putting these bills up for a vote, including maybe capri pants? You wrote a message box last week about Democrats advancing a freedom agenda. Can you talk about that? And are there other issues that you think Democrats should be holding votes like this on between now and November?
Yeah, I think ultimately where you want to be in politics always is having the election focus on issues that unite your base and divide theirs. Generally, that is populist economics for Democrats, but the Republicans have gone so far out of the mainstream on these issues that they've created this tremendous opportunity, right? They've sort of been opened up by the Dobbs decision. And so my argument is we want to have, as Negin said, all of these votes. You want to have them all because we want to do everything we possibly can to focus the electorate's attention on this radical, extreme, right-wing minority that is trying to dictate individual people's personal choices. And so I argued in this message box, this newsletter I write, that we should brand it as a freedom agenda, like our version of the Contract for America. It just is a way to get people to pay attention because it's like, this is all happening so fast, right? There's the House is voting on bills to codify Roe and to allow people to travel within states, and they're doing contraception and same-sex marriage, and it's all happening so fast. And only one of the rules of politics is, it's sort of an old adage, which is tell people what you're going to tell them, then tell them what you told them, right? And so framing this under an agenda that would allow people to understand what this was. And I argued that we have an opportunity to reclaim freedom as a value in our party because of what the Republicans are doing. And you could do it, and it helps solve what I think is one of the challenges for Democrats is it's like a very target-rich environment for Democrats. There are a lot of things we can run on, but they sort of feel disconnected from each other. It's like, how do we run against the Republicans who are wanting to get rid of Social Security and Medicare and just being sort of corporatists? How do we run against them for trying to banning abortion, banning books, banning gay marriage? And then we also, on the other side here, we have them just planning future insurrections.
Don't point at me when you say that kind of shit.
It was in the general direction of you and Steve Bannon and your
Leave him
the war room people over here. And so I thought the one way to do that is you could do a freedom agenda, which would have economic freedom, which you could get to protecting Social Security and Medicare, $15 minimum wage, personal freedom, which could be abortion, gay marriage, contraception, and then democratic freedom, which could be voting rights, stopping insurrections, ethics reform in Congress, like stopping members of Congress trading.
So funny that like stopping insurrections just slid right there between voting rights and ethics reform.
Well, yeah.
We used to talk about for a while. It's like now we have to stop insurrections.
Well, I didn't want to say electoral count reform because that was really boring. So stopping insurrections gets more attention.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be this is a tough morning after pill to swallow for
Tommy.
for Republicans in
Tommy.
swing districts, don't you think?
You guys can leave. No, I know. We've done the terrible
I don't like
job.
me either. It's fine.
Before you leave, though, you too can be messengers in this election. It's very important. Everyone, if you haven't already, please go to votesaveamerica.com. Sign up for Midterm Madness. We need all the help we can get. It's going to be a very competitive election, and we got these Republicans out there wanting to take away birth control and overturn same-sex marriage. So we need all the help. Go to votesaveamerica.com. And speaking of activism, during this tour, we have been inviting local activists on stage to tell us about the fantastic work that they're doing. Tonight, we are so glad to have Grayson Dempsey from Lilith Clinic here in Portland, which provides abortion procedures as the only independent clinic in the state. Grayson, come on out. Hi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. My name is Grayson Dempsey, and I am so proud to represent Oregon's only independent abortion clinic, the Lilith Clinic, which is here in downtown Portland. It has been a bleak few weeks, and it's just an honor to be able to be here talking about the work that we do. First of all, I'm going to assume that everybody knows this, but abortion is still legal in Oregon. And we are going to keep fighting to make sure that it stays that way. We didn't come by these rights by accident. We've been working for years here in Oregon to make sure that we have elected leaders at every level of government who are proactive and passionate about making sure that we advance abortion rights. 5 years ago here in Oregon, we passed the Reproductive Health Equity Act, which not only codified the right to legal abortion, but made sure that that right wasn't dependent on your income, on your zip code, on your citizenship status, or on your gender marker. And it's because of efforts like these and people like you that we are now a haven for over half the country who is needing to access abortion care. And I couldn't be, frankly, prouder to be an Oregonian. At the same time, my heart is broken for the state of our country, and I really recognize that the Dobbs decision shows us that no one is safe from the kind of harm that is inflicted by abortion bans. I know you know this, but the political road ahead of us is really long. There's a big fight ahead of us. We don't know when we're going to win that fight. But the thing in the meantime that we need to make sure that we do is make sure that everybody who needs abortion care can get it. And so as long as people need abortion care, we're going to be here. We're going to be here providing abortion care because abortion is health care, and no one should have to leave their communities or travel hundreds or thousands of miles to get what is basic health care. Clinics like ours across the country are working collectively to ease the burden, but the reality is that many people are gonna have to travel. And for those who have to travel, the financial burden can feel insurmountable. At Lilith Clinic, we work closely with local and national abortion funds to try to ease this burden, but no one should have to choose between paying for an abortion or choosing between things like rent and groceries. So tonight, I wanna talk to you about something that you can do to directly impact abortion care. At the Lilith Clinic, we wouldn't be able to do what we do without the really brave and amazing physicians at Oregon Health and Science University, or OHSU. We're so grateful, who staff our clinic and provide a really important backstop for us to refer the most complex cases to their care. OHSU has set up the Abortion Care and Training, or the ACT Fund, which is specifically there to not only cover the cost of care for abortion patients, and especially those who need, more complex care, who may need overnight care, follow-up treatment, and may not be covered by typical abortion funds, but also does something really unique in that the fund is there to train the next generation of abortion providers. We know, which is incredible, that deserves applause for sure. We know that eventually we are going to flip state houses and we are going to win back the Supreme Court. But if there's nobody there to provide abortions, then that's going to be meaningless. Right now, we have a generation of doctors and clinicians who have been training, and we need to keep that going. So the ACT Fund is set up to train providers from states where abortion has been banned, to give them the essential gynecological skills that they need to not only provide abortion care, but things like miscarriage management and other life-saving skills that are so essential. The last thing I'll say is just that time doesn't wait for political change. There were people needing abortions every single day before the Dobbs decision, and there have been people needing abortions every single day since the Dobbs decision. Everybody here knows and loves somebody who has had an abortion. Everybody here's life has been affected by abortion. Whether or not you've had an abortion or just lived a life with the freedom of knowing that you're not going to be forced into pregnancy or parenting, abortion has touched your life. And our children and our grandchildren are going to need the right to safe abortion. So we need to not only stay committed to the kind of work that we're doing, which is electing people who are committed to advancing abortion rights, but also making sure that reproductive freedom, reproductive justice is at the center of our political values. We really need to make sure we are building an infrastructure for every single person to get the care that they need. I was really nervous tonight. You guys are making this really easy. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say, if you're here at the merchandise table, there are cards with a QR code that'll give you a link directly to donate. If you are listening, the link will be online. And I just really want to thank you so much for your commitment. Thank you to Pod Save America for having me. It's really a pleasure, and we're in this fight together. Thank you.
Give it up for Grayson. Pod Save America is brought to you by Chili Sleep. Science tells us that the best way to achieve and maintain consistent deep sleep is by lowering core body temperature.
Gotta cool the core.
Cool the core. Temperature-controlled sleep repairs muscle after a hard day's work and improves cognitive function.
Makes you smarter.
So you always start your day feeling sharp and alert. You gotta feel sharp. Chili Sleep makes the coldest and most comfortable sleep systems available. They create the environment that meets the body's natural need for lower core temperatures, promoting deeper restorative sleep. Chili Sleep makes the Uller Cube and Doc Pro sleep systems, water-based temperature-controlled mattress toppers that fit over your existing mattress to provide your ideal sleep temperature. These mattress pads keep your bed at the perfect temperature for deep, cold sleep. These sleep systems are designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and give you the confidence and energy you need to power through the day. Good news, they also just launched the new Doc Pro sleep system. It's got 2 times more cold power than other models. It's whisper quiet, and it has a tubeless mattress pad design that allows for 5 times more cooling contact. You pair it with the new Sleep.me app for enhanced device control and sleep scheduling.
I think, John, I'm gonna make some news here.
Holy shit.
Breaking news. I think I'm gonna upgrade to the new Doc Pro system because, listen, I'm not ashamed to admit that if it's too warm in my bedroom, I'm a disaster.
Me too.
I cannot sleep.
I'm the same way.
I'll wake up a sweaty mess. It's disgusting. I appall myself. So I think I'm going to do this. I really do. Chili Sleep.
And look,
It works.
I keep the air conditioning low, but that's not enough for me. That's why I need this.
Right.
Because when I don't turn this on or when I'm sleeping somewhere else, I notice it.
Yeah, we're on the road.
That's how I'm now addicted to the
Luckily, Seattle's known for being cool, or else I'd be a little worried about tonight.
No kidding. Head over to chilisleep.com/crooked to learn more and save 30% off the purchase of any new Cube or Uller sleep system. Plus, save 10% off the purchase of a Doc Pro. This offer is available exclusively for Pod Save America listeners and only for a limited time. That's ChiliSleep.com sleep.com/crooked to take advantage of our exclusive discounts and wake up refreshed every day. Pod Save America is brought to you by Article. Article has everything you need to turn your bedroom into your best room. Wow, that's brilliant. All for a great price. Article offers cozy beds, swanky headboards, and tons of lighting options to help you set the tone. We love Article. We're not getting swanky headboards and cozy beds in the office. I won't say that.
No, it's more like couches.
We have
chairs,
a lot of their couches,
tables, things like that.
They are affordable. They look fantastic. They ship relatively quickly. We love Article. We've had it at Crooked for a long, long time now.
Mm-hmm.
And the quality is great. They're super comfortable. Article is the easiest way to make your space look beautiful. They combine the curation of a boutique furniture store with the comfort and simplicity of shopping online. Article's team of designers focuses on beautifully crafted pieces, quality materials, and durable construction. They're dedicated to a modern aesthetic of mid-century Scandinavian, industrial, and bohemian designs. Fast, affordable shipping is available across the USA and Canada, and it's free on orders over $999. All in-stock items are delivered in 2 weeks or less. Article cuts out the middleman and sells directly to you. No showrooms, no salespeople, no retail markups. You save up to 30% over traditional retail prices. Article's offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, you just visit article.com/crooked, and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/crooked for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Pod Save America is brought to you by Athletic Greens. It is now easier than ever to start your day off right with 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens in a single scoop of AG1. AG1 is NSF certified for sport, the gold standard for professional athletes who have to adhere to strict rules regarding supplements and nutritional products. Tommy, take it away.
I love AG1. Take it every day. It makes me feel I have some clarity in my head, and it gives me energy. It's light. You can do it before or after your workout. You can do it in a smoothie.
I saw Tommy walked into the airport today on our way to Seattle. He had a little pep in his step.
I just
And I was
dumped
like,
it
you
down
must
my
have just
throat.
had your AG1.
Absolutely.
You can tell.
Every day.
You can tell. It's recommended by professional athletes, and with over 7,000 five-star reviews, this is high nutritional value in its most convenient format. Athletic Greens wants you to know it isn't just for athletes, it's for anyone like Tommy that believes if you start strong, it's easier to finish
I
that
don't like how
way.
you phrase that.
It's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills or supplements like your grandma used to take. God love her. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/crooked. Again, that it's athleticgreens.com/crooked to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Please welcome to the stage the next Congresswoman from the 5th District of Oregon, Jamie McLeod-Skinner. It appears you have some fans here tonight.
It's not about me, it's about them. All I do is hold up a mirror. We got some amazing folks in the 5th and throughout Oregon, and folks just want to get it done. So thank you all for being here.
So you made the decision to take on a longtime incumbent, backed by the National Party, well-funded. Tell us about how you made that decision and then how you won that race.
Well, it all comes down to the why. And for me, when I was 8 years old, my mom told me to always leave a place better than I found it. And back then, she was a single mom with 2 kids. She'd get up early to drive a school bus. She'd teach all day. She drove a school bus home. And the summers, she was a farm worker. She picked fruit to put food on our table. You know, I so admire her, and we see Oregonians like that across the district. People are hurting. These are tough times, where our homes are literally burning down. And then also, our democracy's at risk. You've been talking about that a lot, and I'm up against an election denier. So that's the work that needs to get done. I began my public service over in Bosnia and Kosovo. I did not serve in uniform. It was back in the day. I'd come out as a young adult. As I say in rural areas, that's how God made me. God doesn't make mistakes. But it was back in the day. And so I work for a humanitarian organization repairing schools and hospitals in Bosnia and Kosovo. And so January 6th, which you were talking about, I've seen what happens if that would have succeeded. And so there's so much at stake. And there's that. Also, a lot of people reached out and asked me to run.
And in the course of that race, it's never easy to be taking on an incumbent. Most people who take on incumbents lose. What was key to your strategy to winning? What was the political environment, the issues? How did you approach it?
Grassroots, right there. Well, it's simple. You show up, you listen with respect, you hear what people are talking about, what people are concerned about, and then you do that. I mean, that's what public service is. And so I can say, and that was true in the primary. We were talking to Democrats. It's true now as well in the general. Regardless of party affiliation, we all want to be able to have a roof over our head and food on our table. We want opportunities for our kids. We want health care for our families when they're sick. We don't want our homes to burn down. We don't want our family farms going under. And those are the basic issues. So whether it was lowering prescription drug prices, also shout out to our teachers, because my mom's a retired teacher.
Mine too.
But it's shown up and addressing the challenges that working families, working people are facing. And in terms of resources, we're heavily outspent. I don't take corporate PAC money because I believe in accountability to voters. But even in this first quarter, and I'm running against a MAGA Republican, I outraised her, and she's heavily self-funded. And 96% of our contributions were low-dollar donations. So it's about working with folks.
When people, take on and defeat incumbents, it's always a little bit uncomfortable because you've just beaten the colleague of the people who you're now trying to join. How has the national party been, the DCCC, the congressional leadership, to you in your campaign since your victory?
They've totally embraced us, and that's because there is so much at stake. I mean, there's some folks on the Democratic Party that I'm more aligned to. Some folks it's really a different approach to the same fundamental things, and it's about showing up and taking care of people. That's why I'm a Democrat. I think that's what the Democratic Party is doing, and that's why we need to elect Democrats, especially this cycle.
So your race has received a lot of national coverage. It's been a lot of punditry about it, and it is framed in this way of progressive versus centrist, and and it's treated in the same category as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's victories or Ayanna Pressley's or Cori Bush's. But I feel like these national labels from people who write about the race and talk about the race who probably never stepped foot in Oregon during the race doesn't really represent how things really went. Do you define yourself as a progressive? What kind of progressive are you? How do you want people to think of you and your approach to this district?
So I've traveled thousands of miles across Oregon. I've met with thousands of folks. And with all due respect to polling, the things I'm talking about are things...
No one has respect for polling.
Okay. So that's the diplomat in me saying that you've always got to... Like someone once said, you can say anything you want about someone as long as you start with, bless their pea pig in the heart. So that's kind of that piece. But... my platform is based on what I've heard from Oregonians. That's what folks need. And, I've met some real conservative Republicans who would make progressives blush with what they're suggesting. And we've seen that a lot, right? That, you meet folks who hated Obamacare but love the ACA. So a lot of it comes down to language and what we're talking about. Hey, we've all got those buttons, I'll say. So, it's true. So it comes down to the basic things. Again, roof over your head, food on your table, opportunities for our kids, and healthcare for our families. Talking about wildfire and our farms going under. That's climate change. So in urban areas, we'll talk about addressing the climate crisis. In rural areas, we'll just use different language. We're talking about the same thing, but it's doing those things. And so whatever that is, sign me up. Call me whatever you want. That's what I'm working on.
So, not to be like the national pundits that I just decried seconds ago, but I am actually in Oregon, so I guess that's slightly better. But I read that the primary was shaped by many hyperlocal issues, including the correct manner for bucking hay. Tell me more about that, and what is the correct way to buck hay? And why was that an issue in this race?
That came up about being, this question about being genuine and being authentic. Mm-hmm. And as a kid, I bucked hay. You wear gloves when you buck hay, otherwise you rip up your hands. I also shoveled a lot of horse manure. And as I've been told that's great experience for being in politics. But actually, it was my mom and my father-in-law, who both live in Central Oregon, who saw those flyers that came out and were saying, wait a minute, this is not legit. My wife's family comes from a ranching family in Eastern Oregon. We had about 18 acres that we would hay, and so I bucked hay as a kid, and we also had, about 50 head of sheep. My wife and I live in Central Oregon. We've got a couple, Central Oregon, shout out, there we go. And this district actually extends from southern Portland, so the Selwood Bridge, to Central Oregon, to Sun River, for those who know. So, and there's other issues that are national issues. So congressional people stock trading, and that's a bipartisan issue. I'd vote against.
You're against it?
I'm against it, but I will say, when we're talking about stock, when I get up in the morning and checking my stocks, I'm going out and checking on my goats. So,
yes, fair enough. What should people may be surprised to know that you're in what is rated as a toss-up district, that this is going to be a very competitive race. And obviously, it's not a super optimal political environment right now. Are there things that you would like to see the White House, congressional Democrats do that could maybe improve the political environment, executive actions, bills they could pass, et cetera, as you think about your race?
well, this is a great district because it's very purple. It's got blue and red and purple sections of it. And it's really a microcosm of Oregon and I think a microcosm of our country. And if we can figure out how to do it here and show up, listen with respect, and work together to bridge the divides, the political divide, the urban-rural divide, focus on talking about the challenges that we're facing, and then work on solving those problems. That's really what I think so many Oregonians are hungry for. That's what I think a lot of Americans are hungry for as well. It's getting the job done. And, one of the big threats we're facing right now is this extremism that there has been discussion about earlier tonight.
It seems like we talk about that every week. So.
Well, it's true. I mean, this is a huge crisis that we're facing. We have to take it seriously because, like I said, I've worked in former war zones, and we were facing that on January 6th. And so those who are elections deniers, like the person I'm running against, the MAGA Republican who's an election denier, they cannot be put in positions of power because it would put our country at risk. And so, yeah. And actually, I'll ask you all, the folks who literally stood on the line for us, the Capitol Police, I'll ask you to give them all a shout out because they protect our democracy that day. So to answer your question, simple things like lowering prescription drug prices, that was a huge issue in the primary. It's really simple, but I tell you, I remember talking to a grandfather just a couple months ago who was literally in tears because their family, his grandson, had very dangerous, life-threatening allergies, and they needed an EpiPen. And those things cost about $5 to make, and they cost about $600 to buy. That's price gouging. So, lowering prescription drug prices, that's one of those tangible things that we can do. We need to heavily invest in renewable energy and renewable energy grid. There's a lot of steps we can take to help, cover those basic things that we've been talking about.
In addition to your opponent being a MAGA election denier, all the people in this audience here are going to go out, they're going to talk to their friends, they're going to talk to the people that they're connected to online about your race and about the upcoming election. What else should they know about your opponent in the stakes in this election?
Well, a couple of things. I mentioned before she's trying to buy this race. She has used taxpayer money before to go on junkets and golf carts and stuff like that. She also, when the Trump, she was a big supporter of the Trump tax cuts that essentially took money that put the middle class at risk and working families at risk by lowering the resource that we had and created tax breaks for corporations. That's something she celebrated, and she literally said, well, it'll be good for some of us. Well, it's not good for most of us. I mean, so there's no solutions there. Yeah. So we're facing, rebounding from the COVID economy, challenging times, the climate crisis, challenge, and also protecting our democracy. So we are in a time of crisis, but we're also in a time of hope. And it's not passive hope. It's let's get out there, roll up our sleeves, and get the job done hope. And I'm really proud. The folks who are working as part of my campaign are working really hard to get the job done, to make sure we protect this seat, and then we protect the House. And that's going to be really critical.
If you're elected, you would become Oregon's first member of Congress from the LGBTQ plus community. Obviously, we are seeing in the Supreme Court and across the country an assault on LGBTQ plus rights around this country. How worried are you about the Supreme Court, and what do you want to see Congress do to try to protect them?
Well, there's so many attacks right now on our very fundamental personal freedoms. And that's about our abortion rights and rights to make decisions about our own bodies. And Grayson was talking about that earlier. There's also about protecting families like mine. A shout out to my wife who's here. But we used to be able to depend on the Supreme Court to protect our rights. That is no more. And so now it's going to take Congress codifying these rights and then also making sure we have a Supreme Court that gets back to protecting our rights. And I can say that, I would be the first out member of the LGBTQ community representing the great state of Oregon. Really proud of that. But so typically, other people bring that up because I just want to get the job done. I just want to get the job done. But it is important. I've literally had conservative Republicans in Eastern Oregon come up to me and want to shake my hand and thank me for running us out because they say, it's time. One guy said, my son's gay and it's time. Let's just get this done.
That's great. That's really great. All right. Before we go, please tell our audience here in the venue and listening at home how they can help your campaign.
That's been my favorite question so far. Great question.
I would not let you off this stage without asking that question.
Well, when we're talking to voters, there's two things that we hear. One is that when people know my background and my experience, wildfire recovery and engineering and all the different things I've done for folks, people trust me to lead and trust me in the seat. The second thing we've heard is there are a lot more folks who need to hear about me so that we can make sure we win this race in November. So there's three things you can do. The first is follow us on social media, and we're on several different platforms. So it's at jamiefororegon.com. The second thing you can do is donate. As I mentioned, I don't take corporate PAC money, and we rely heavily on individual contributions and also membership organizations. So it's jamiefororegon.com. If you can go online and contribute, $10, $20, $50, it'll be huge, and that's what will help us. And we actually outraised our opponent in this last cycle. The third thing you can do is help with voter outreach. So whether you're here in Oregon, whether you're anywhere across the country, you can help with voter engagement. You can help on the phones. You can help with postcards. If you're here in the district, in the area, you can go knock on doors because that voter contact, that talking about this hope we have for the future is the way we're going to win this race.
There is no math where the Democrats lose this race and keep the majority. So if we want to keep the majority and keep the gavel out of Kevin McCarthy's hand, we have to elect Jamie. So, Jamie, thank you so much for being here.
That is our show for tonight. Thank you to Jamie McLeod-Skinner. Thank you to Grayson Dempsey. Thank you to Negin Farsad. Thank you, Portland. Go to VoteSaveAmerica.com. Sign up for the midterms. Get your regions.